So it's very cool seeing my vision come to reality. Getting back up every time because it's a lot of downs, definitely. So it's just persistence and being relentless because you have to be in it for a long time to succeed.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast brought to you by focus-biz.com.
With us is the founder of Deus Marketing / AJ Media, Alexander Johannessen. So excited to have him on. His business helps other businesses with paid advertising email marketing, specifically with businesses looking to grow with $15,000 or more per month available for their services. Once again, so excited to have Alexander on. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
We wanted to ask our entrepreneurs, tell us more about your journey. What were you doing before that kind of led you into what you're doing now?
So I'm still pretty young. I like to start with my sporting background. So that's where all my competitiveness comes in. I played football or soccer for the American audience. But at a certain point, you realize you probably can't make it pro. So I tried to find something else, tried going into school for entrepreneurship and business. Dropped out after 5 months because it was moving pretty slow. And then I found out we could just start this by myself and figure it out. Of course, the man, Gary V, put me on in terms of getting started, getting permission. And then I just started a side hustle while working other jobs. We started just posting organically for businesses locally on Facebook and then doing advertising. And then I actually got a job in marketing while running the side hustle. So I did marketing for watches and jewelry for 3 years. But after COVID, the side hustle, which was AJ Media at the time, I made more money on the side than from the main job. It's time to quit and do it full time. So I've been running it full time for 3 years. And now we're looking to launch a new agency called Deus Marketing. And we're looking to work with high-end luxury clients.
Very nice. Quite an exciting journey for all of us. I feel like sometimes we have a general direction we want to go, but we never really know where our paths are going to end up. And I think that hands-on experience, both working with local clients that you had, but while also working for a marketing agency, I feel like that went hand in hand because you had practical applications and you got more typical training from the job site as well to launch into what you do. So you focus more on the paid ads and the email marketing side of things. Tell me more about how this kind of works, what results you've had, and what you're doing for your clients.
Sure. So most of our clients are doing paid ads on Google and Meta, which is the biggest platforms. What we're seeing is that paid ads will always increase in cost because there are always more players entering the game. In the last couple of years, we've been moving more towards email combined with those two platforms so we can retain customers for a longer time, getting a higher AOV and less churn. We've had a lot of great results and a lot of difficulties as well, especially when we work with kind of smaller local clients. It's hard getting past the first level because most of them are starting doing this and then they also need a take-home salary, which means we can't just be like Temu or Shein just putting money into the machine. We've had some amazing results, like just last year before Christmas, we did 4x in 60 days with the e-com store through email marketing, Google and Facebook. That's one of our coolest accomplishments.
I love that. That's so exciting. And I appreciate that you both shared a really great success story and just the other ones that we're testing things, we're trying things. I appreciate that honesty more than just coming with cherry picking your best data and saying, hey, this is exactly what we can do and guaranteed results. And you better contact us now. But you're like, hey, you know what? We're just like everyone else. We're testing things, but we're using that background education and experience to produce something better and achieve better results eventually, hopefully.
Yeah, because I could come on here and say we have 15 ROAS and all of our campaigns are doing amazing, which many of them are. But to be honest with you, on previous podcasts and when I've talked with other media buyers as well, we've been talking about like budgets and the digital advertising or paid advertising really is just testing. And then you just keep testing. So you might have this winning ad, but it's not finished. It won't run forever. So we need to test new stuff. It's just like educated guesses, but your education gets a bit better every time.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things that we'll only learn through the testing and the experience. Just as you mentioned before, sometimes even paid ads can have a shorter cycle because it exponentially gets more costly to run. So that isn't a long-term viable option. email can help introduce new touch points. It can help bring value. It can be a reminder to them. What are some of the ways that you're introducing email marketing into the mix as far as like nurturing and bringing them through the buyer's journey?
Sure. So we actually have a YouTube video coming out about our strategy for 2025 around email marketing. I'm just going to plug that right now. But yeah, these standard automations is like welcome emails, win back emails, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, those types of things. And then we work with different segmentations and newsletters into those segmentations as well. And we're looking to some AI tools to do this better. Of course, there are some e-commerce platforms that does it better than others, but we're looking to use more AI in terms of hyper segmentation and getting a higher conversion rate on the emails we send. And then, of course, writing good copy and writing good emails helps. So that's our philosophy around email marketing. And then I have a 10 to 20 minute video coming out very soon.
That's excellent, because I didn't want you to brain dump all of the tips. It's like, hey, give us a little insight and then appreciate that you have this resource coming. With everything that you're doing in your marketing strategies, you as your company are technically B2B, right? You're selling to other businesses. What has been most effective for you to build these relationships? You started more local, right? And you're moving into more of a boutique side, but what's been most effective for you? Are you just knocking on doors? Are you calling people? You hit them with an ad and then the email? What's been effective for you?
We've done a little bit of both. In terms of the AJ Media, which is the Norwegian one, more locally based, we did a lot of underground networking, which has been great, as well as the clients have a more established connection with you. They stay longer, the churn is lower. In terms of other clients, we've done a lot of Facebook ads, and the average deal size isn't usually big, but it's been very stable in terms of volume and deals closed. The bigger clients is still networking, but more online, some through podcasts like these, and then a lot of LinkedIn, of course, but not in the way like you get pitched LinkedIn outreach. It's not, hi, let's 3x your e-com store in 90 days. It's more getting the conversation going and building actual relationship to see if there is something you can do to help them. It's not usually just pushy sales.
Yes, and that's a huge part of marketing right now is the effectiveness of just trying to go straight for the sale. People obviously try to ignore that and avoid that as much as they can. When we try to elicit this reply here, most people are like, I need to get the sale, or they need to book a meeting. Sometimes you just need to get a conversation going and let's take it from there, because that builds naturally. You're not going to get that rapport building just by like taking someone through a funnel into a sign-up form. There has to be some nurturing involved.
Definitely. And I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now. I told you before we started, almost a veteran. And I want to work with people I like, and I want to work with people I actually can work with, not just doing it for the paycheck, because we've had some success and we know we can make money. It's for long-term and sustainability. I want to work with people who want to work with us and I want to work with, and usually those people stay longer, so the contract value is higher, and it takes a lot of less mental energy.
Yes, it does. But that's something I think a lot of entrepreneurs recognize into a few years into businesses, that there is a right fit client and there are ones that are not a right fit. And you're going to expend so much energy trying to please the ones that shouldn't have been a client in the first place. And you get to a point where luckily you can realize that and now pick who you want to work with. One thing you mentioned about that is really important, not just for that piece, but overall is retention, the churn. A lot of people, when they think about marketing, they're going straight to the top of funnel, Facebook ads, I need more ads, I need more connections. And they really forget about that middle of funnel. How do we actually communicate the offer and get this conversation going? What can we learn about the middle stage of this funnel here as far as conversions and keeping happy clients long-term?
Yeah. So for getting leads in the middle funnel, I think it's more like just being visible all of the time in different mediums. We're doing a lot of organic content. I think we have 50 blog posts going out. We have YouTube going out. We have podcasts going out. And then we post on social every day as well. And then kind of just contributing where you can in online forums as well, if that's on LinkedIn or on Instagram or like a group on Telegram. Just staying visible and being a part of an actual community house. In terms of retention, when the clients are with you, I think we've been bad at this for a long time. And that's why I'm focusing a lot of my energy and time on it now. It's more follow-up, getting clear on what you're actually doing. Because often when we work with marketing agencies, it's like you sign with them, then the onboarding process and everything feels fine. And then after 2 weeks, we don't hear from them. And then maybe you get a report, which We've been guilty many times. But again, that's why we focus on that. It's more touch points, more follow-up, giving them the service they actually are paying for. Because the philosophy now with launching the new agency as well is more agencies have become a product or a commodity more than a service. And we want to be a service. We want to actually help the people work with them. So that's why we're focusing on retention, because it takes a lot of time and money getting new clients, and it takes less time and money to keep them.
Yes, I totally agree. And I love your strategy around building the content, because this one is helpful for SEO for that top of funnel, right? You're getting organic search. Now you can use that to help nurture leads throughout any stage of the buyer's journey. So like you said before, segmenting some newsletters, maybe you have some blog topics that are specific to them. And hey, I thought this would be a great resource for you. Now you just made a touch point. And I think being visible with audiences online in groups and communities, just being a helpful resource helps you build connections and referrals. And if people like you and trust you enough, they might be interested in moving forward. Check out your website and reach out to learn more.
Yeah, definitely. And we're doing exactly that. We have some very top of funnel, some interesting reads as well, but also some very specific like niche content that we can use in outreach. Like, this is your store. This is your brand. Just have a read and let's talk.
Absolutely. So I wanted to ask something specific to 2025, the trends and changes we've seen with email deliverability, spam, everything coming into play. How are you trying to navigate through this landscape of the new changes with emails? And I think just the way people want to be connected with and sold.
Yeah, I think it's a very broad topic as well, because it's like some macro trends and then the email in terms of the technical stuff. Like I was touching on a bit earlier, is more segmentation, which kind of sucks for you as a email marketer, because you have to do more work in terms of writing emails or hitting the touch points for those specific sub niches. But I think the more personal you can get with the emails, the better. And then you're going to do some sales push and whatever, but you can definitely increase your conversion rate while hyper segmenting and making content more relevant. And then there is a lot of cool macro trends in my perspective in terms of branding and building like brand worlds and events and stuff.
Absolutely. Something we need to be mindful with a lot of the changes and trends that we're seeing. People, business owners, marketers want to stay on top of the game here and even ahead of the game oftentimes, because AI has kind of wreaked havoc. It's both helped a lot of businesses, solopreneurs, kind of do more things than they ever thought they could. People are worried about their jobs. People are using it to enhance their jobs. What is your take on AI? Does it play a role in your business or some of the clients that you work with?
Yeah, I think last week changed my perception a little bit, actually, because in terms of usage, we use it a lot. Just like I use it for content, getting ideas or helping writing scripts. We use it for some ad creation as well. We use it for some email or Google headlines if I don't feel creative. But in terms of usage, I think we as online marketers or business owners, we're so chronically online that we think everyone uses AI. And it's probably a lot less than we think. Because I had a discussion about Google search volume and going to AI or TikTok for that instance. But it's so much less people than we actually think. It's billions of users on Google. It's a couple of million, 20 million. So we're getting there, definitely. But I think we should take a step back and like go outside. It's less people than we think, but it has changed a lot on the advertising platforms. More and more like media buying happens through AI models, and we're just gonna see how it changes.
Absolutely. And I agree. It's something that not a lot of people know about. I feel like the people who know about AI are the ones who are working with it and selling it and offering it as a solution. That's why I don't lead with AI in a lot of messaging or even on my LinkedIn, because I think it scares people away. You have to hide it in some way or just craft a message that better resonates with them, because their perception of it is a little bit different. So it's like, how do we bring these emerging technologies to the table? Whoever would have thought with the internet, right? Apparently there's this place called online. There's this online and you can send an email and electronic mail. This was the early stage of the internet. No one thought it would be anything. I wonder if that could be similar or the same for AI and how it can evolve.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because I see some of my friends use it, but they don't use it well. And then I see some of my friends use it, but they ask simple questions, which Google could do, but they just use ChatGPT because it's cool. And it's a very long way from ChatGPT to steal our jobs. We're way ahead of the curve. And I think it can be really hard to sell AI because of it's too much for a lot of people and a lot of businesses. But I think a lot of businesses could definitely benefit of some power AI users or some AI integrations into the business.
Yes, absolutely. And AI is just it's one of many tools available in our toolbox. We've been using software and technology for years, automation tools to help our clients and serve them. Are there any ways that you're using other technology to help your clients? Either it's the creative stage or the growing, scaling phase, because there's tools out there. Would there be any that you recommend to others?
I would say inspire us in terms of ad creative. It's basically just stealing. So we have a tool called Creative OS, which takes the best performing. It's just static ads in the US, which you can just scroll through or sort on like beauty, and then you get the ads. Then you just copy them into Canva or Figma and then change them a bit to your brand, which we've used a lot and it works. But I think it kind of fatigues audiences pretty quickly because they look the same. There are a lot of cool tools and we're testing constantly, but I would recommend that one. And of course, like third-party tracking and stuff, which we have to use like Triple Whale or higher, depending on what business you run.
That's really cool to hear that it's being used in the creative competitive analysis space right now, because any person can go on a Facebook account and it's public information, go look at their ads. But to have a tool that can scan it, find the information for you, put it all together, that is absolutely brilliant and very cool. We can learn a lot from other business. It doesn't have to be a one-for-one remake. This can be still varied to your brand, but we can learn a lot from competitors. Are there certain businesses that you try to model yourselves after or have been an inspiration to some of the work that you've been doing? You mentioned Gary Vee before, but any notable brands out there that have kind of led the way for you in your inspiration?
Yeah, I had some inspirations in terms of entrepreneurship, and then of course like Gary Vee in terms of marketing and branding. And there are others which definitely don't need a shout out, but they're awesome. In terms of when we're building this brand, it's more what I like and looked at brands that I both like and aspire to. And I'm very into luxury stuff. So like looking into American Bentley, Aston Martin, looking into Patek and Constantin. So it's getting inspirations for the brands that we kind of dream of working with more than stealing or looking at the marketing space alone.
Right. That can be so insightful to look at a brand that was creating what you want to be and mimic a style or get some inspiration from that. I absolutely love that. I want to ask, where can people find out more about you, get connected with you online, and give you another chance to plug YouTube podcast channels where people can find you?
Yeah, so we're working on a website right now. It won't be live for a little while, but you can find me on LinkedIn with my name, Alexander Johannessen. And you can find me on Instagram, which is Alex, Joh 13. And YouTube, and I have a podcast called The Beauty of Business, which you can also find on YouTube.
Very nice. And we'll have those links available down in the description and the show notes for everyone. Alexander, what are you kind of looking forward to in 2025? You said you're kind of coming up with this new brand. It's been a vision and a dream that you've been putting together. It's finally coming to fruition. How are you kind of planning the launch here? And what are some of the next steps that you're working towards?
I'm really excited to get this started. We've been working with a branding agency who's been awesome for 3 months now. And I've had it in my head for like 2 years. So it's very cool seeing my vision come to reality. In terms of launching, we've been working on a launch plan, which includes organic content, ads, and a lot of outreach as well to the right people in the right spaces. And then jumping on podcasts like this and just spreading the word.
Very nice. I want to ask a general business leadership question. What do you think it takes to be successful?
Getting back up every time, because it's a lot of downs, definitely. So it's just persistence and being relentless, because you have to be in it for a long time to succeed.
Absolutely. And I think just a testament to that, when Alexander and I first got on the podcast, he seemed kind of drained, and it was just like, he'd been working all week. He's been doing a lot of traveling, working hard, putting in a lot of hours. And I was like, I hope this is the last one. He said, well, I have a few Slack messages I can follow up back to this. The entrepreneurial mindset, I feel like it's never ending, always more work to be done. But just wanted to give you a kudos to you for putting in the effort. You're making these short-term sacrifices in hopes for a long-term gain. And I think you're working towards something really you can work with and be proud of.
Thank you so much, Chris. And you gave me a lot of energy. So now I'll definitely answer the Slack messages.
That is excellent. I wanted to also open the floor. If there's anything else we haven't covered yet, anything you might either tell your younger self as an entrepreneur, or maybe you need some words of advice for those who are kind of spinning their wheels right now and kind of lacking some clarity and direction.
Yeah, younger me, buy Bitcoin and start earlier. That would be like the two main advice. I definitely should have started a bit earlier because you're young and you have a lot of fear, and probably should have quit the job earlier as well. Other people struggling, it's just keep going. Actually, my best advice, just keep going.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you highlighted that it's not all just sunshine and rainbows all the time. There are dark days, storm clouds roll in. Your ability to get back up again is really going to set you apart from anyone else running in a similar space as well. You have to be resilient.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Alexander, we appreciate you coming on, sharing your tips and tricks. Excited for your new journey, everything you're putting together. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.